An American Airlines jet making an emergency landing in a scenario similar to the miracle on the Hudson 15 years ago. The flight was en route to Charlotte from New York's LaGuardia Airport. It had to divert to JFK due to a potential bird strike. No reports of any injuries. The FAA is investigating. France has a new prime minister. President Emmanuel Macron named ally and centrist Francois Bayrou today. Former PM Michel Barnier resigned last week after a no-confidence vote. Consulting giant McKinsey & Company shelling out hundreds of millions for its connection to opioids.
McKinsey & Company has agreed to a $650 million settlement over federal charges of conspiring with Purdue Pharma to misbrand OxyContin and other opioids, fueling the nation's addiction epidemic. Federal prosecutors in Massachusetts and Virginia say McKinsey knowingly worked to boost opioid sales from 2012 to 2018 and even destroyed documents to cover it up. The firm charged with conspiracy to defraud the U.S. had already paid over $500 million in a 2021 settlement with states over its opioid-related work. Dave Packer, ABC News.
The UN Security Council says it is concerned about the Taliban's recent rule to ban women from medical education. Women in Afghanistan have also been denied access to education beyond the 6th grade. The Security Council also criticized the Taliban's vice and virtue directives that bar women from participating in the economy. Michelle Frandsen, ABC News.
This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. Over the past 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities, dignitaries, and individuals worldwide. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can name a star and give the ultimate Christmas gift. The star name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333 to give the brightest gift. That's 800-282-3333.
News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KVNU.
I'm Bill Walter, KVNU News. News is brought to you by Roof Rescue. A 23-year-old Preston, Idaho woman died in a multi-vehicle crash Thursday afternoon. It happened around 1:25 p.m. on US 91 at Legacy Drive in Franklin. According to the Idaho State Police, a Mazda Tribute driven by a 77-year-old man from Logan was headed northbound on US 91. The driver reportedly stopped in the roadway and began reversing in the lane towards the intersection. Police report that at the same time, a Dodge Ram driven by a 32-year-old man from Franklin was southbound on US 91 and was turning left onto Legacy Drive. During the turn, the Dodge truck stopped in the northbound lanes to avoid colliding with the reversing Mazda. Another Dodge Ram driven by a 20-year-old man from Franklin was traveling northbound on US 91. The driver, in an attempt to avoid a collision, swerved into the southbound lanes, but still hit the other Dodge truck. Police said the truck then continued into the turn lane where it collided head-on with a Jeep Renegade that was traveling southbound. The SUV was being driven by the 23-year-old woman from Preston. The woman was wearing a seatbelt but succumbed to her injuries at the scene. Her identity has not yet been released, pending notification of family. Police report the southbound lanes of US 91 were blocked for over 4 hours to allow emergency responders to assist those involved and clear the scene. One person was killed in a two-vehicle crash on a Sevier County roadway. Utah Highway Patrol Trooper Takesha Durant said the vehicles collided on SR 24 near milepost 8 shortly after 9 p.m. Wednesday night. According to UDOT, a white Nissan Pathfinder was traveling westbound on SR 24, getting ready to turn north onto SR 259. As the driver of the Pathfinder initiated the turn, they did not notice an eastbound gold Nissan Sentra traveling through the intersection. The Pathfinder turned into the oncoming Sentra, striking the front driver's side. The driver of the Pathfinder was not injured in the crash, but the driver of the Sentra sustained fatal injuries. And a Hurricane man has been arrested on 39 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor. 27-year-old Mitchell Gillette was interviewed by the Hurricane Police Department on Wednesday and placed under arrest. Police were first made aware of the child pornography in his possession after Mitchell's ex-wife discovered the files on his computer in October. According to the probable cause affidavit, Mitchell left his laptop at her residence. She reportedly told police she was using the laptop to access Medicaid for their autistic daughter's Social Security. She said she intended to change the screensaver photo when she opened the photo folder. Within the folder, she found dozens of explicit photos and videos with images of child pornography. She provided the laptop to the Hurricane Police Department. Police obtained a search warrant for the computer. The laptop was taken to the Utah Tech Computer Forensic Lab, where the content was downloaded. The Light the World giving machines are coming to Cache Valley December 16th through January 1st. They will be located just off Center Street next to Great Harvest. The machines will be unveiled during a community celebration Monday evening at 6 with live music. The machines make giving easy and fun. With the push of a button, you can buy a chicken or a goat for a family across the globe, buy warm winter clothing, or help feed a local family. Dozens of essential gift ideas ranging from $10 to $100, and 100% of every donation goes to its intended charity. Items can also be purchased for local charities, including CETC, Cache Valley for Hope, Common Ground, the English Language Center, and neighborhood nonprofit housing. Winter weather advisory in effect for the mountains beginning at noon Saturday until 3 p.m. Sunday for heavy snow possible in the Bear River Range, possibly up to 1.5 feet of snow over the 24 to 27-hour period. But for the Cache Valley, rain-snow mix in our forecast. Partly cloudy tonight, mid-20s, and then a slight chance of snow tomorrow morning, then rain and snow, and then all rain in the afternoon on Saturday. A little bit of snow possible on Sunday morning. Get more news at CacheValleyDaily.com.
For over a decade, Roof Rescue has been safeguarding your homes with the finest roofing solutions. We understand the value of your time. That's why we're committed to replacing most roofs in just one day. With award-winning service, 100% guaranteed workmanship, and the best warranties in the industry, your watertight peace of mind is guaranteed. Call us today at 435-999-4268 or visit RoofRescueUSA.com and ask for the $250 off any roof replacement. Financing available? That's RoofRescueUSA.com.
The newsmakers, the stories. Get it all here. News Talk KVNU 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
This is Dr. Red, chiropractic physician with Red River Health and Wellness. Are you suffering with fatigue, brain fog, headaches, intestinal issues, weight gain, and you haven't been able to find any answers?
Before I started at Red River, I was having a lot of stomach pain. I was overweight, severe anxiety, some depression. I had been to multiple doctors. I'd been to specialists. We had done tests, and no one could find anything that was wrong.
Red River Health and Wellness can help you.
I'm on anxiety medicine. I've lowered my dose, and I'm working with my doctor to continue to lower it. I'm sleeping through the night. I have energy for my kids. I've lost 30 pounds. I just feel really good.
Our goal is to teach you and educate you so you know how to manage your condition a lot more effectively, and you know what to do and what not to do for the rest of your life.
Schedule your appointment today at 855-55-RIVER. Red River Health and Wellness with offices in Logan, South Jordan, Springville, and St. George.
Call Red River today.
KVNU's For the People with Jason Williams and Bill Walter.
And it is Utah known as the fraud capital of the world. Not because we have more people committing fraud, but because we have so many people falling for it.
Going beneath the headlines and connecting you to the newsmakers.
The radio is a great way to get the word out to a lot of people in an emergency. So we thank you for your help and being a partner with us.
For the People on News Talk KVNU 610 AM, 102.1 FM. Online at 610kvnu.com and on the KVNU mobile app.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People. It is Friday, December 13th. I'm Jason Williams. Kicking the show off today with a very special guest joining us here in the studio to talk about something I've touched on here and there throughout the week because it's one of my favorite charitable events. And here at KVNU, we're happy to have been able to partner again with the team at Cache Valley Cares for Christmas. The Cache Valley Cares for Christmas organization this year is helping 15 local families. These are families that have been nominated by friends, neighbors, family members, even coworkers at times. And these are families in unique situations with some unique needs. A total of 72 individuals ranging in age from newborns and 2-year-olds to the elderly living with their kids. It is a situation where you can really step up in very specific ways, and it's fun as well. Visit caresforchristmas.org to learn more and meet these families, run through their lists of needs, and if you're feeling super generous, there are also lists of wants. And there's some touching stuff here. It's impossible to not visit Cares for Christmas and not pick up a little bit of the story of these 15 families, specifically one family with a new baby that came early and has since resided at the neonatal intensive care unit at Primary Children's Hospital, meaning Dad's been traveling back and forth from St. George to Salt Lake. Mom has been spending time in St. George and Salt Lake. The kids are staying with grandparents. The other kids are staying with grandparents here in Cache Valley, and they could use, obviously, gas cards, food gift cards, and they have a 4-year-old girl that likes to dress up and a 2-year-old boy that likes anything with Spider-Man on it. There are specific lists for each family at caresforchristmas.org. And obviously, if you can't shop for specific items on the needs list for these families, they're always happy to get gift cards for gas and food. You can make a cash donation to Cares for Christmas directly using the Venmo account cares-for-christmas. And all of this needs to be completed for these 15 families by Wednesday, December 18th at 5 p.m. And joining us here in the studio from the Cache Valley Cares for Christmas organization, we have Melissa Frandsen. And Melissa, this is a pleasure to have you join us here on the show again to talk about this. I'm, just as a quick aside, I'm kind of a sucker for sort of, we were talking about the giving machines coming to Logan next week. The Family Foundation also has an online vending machine they do on their website. This stuff gets me. When I can see, when you go through looking at these families here at caresforchristmas.org and you see, for example, the young boy that likes anything with Spider-Man on it, there's something about going and picking something out in that scenario or making a donation to go towards that, whatever it might be, that is so fulfilling. And how many years now have you been doing this?
This is actually our 10th year.
Wow.
So we have helped over 530 families in the valley. 530 individuals so far in Cache Valley through this program.
That's amazing.
And it's been fun. It's a lot of work. It's, like you were saying, a lot of heartache. That family we were talking about, that baby has been in the NICU for 8 months. And
the stress of that alone, even if it was like June, but the holidays at the same time.
I had baby in the hospital for a month, and I had a hard time. I can't even imagine 8 months and trying to juggle everything that they're trying to juggle. And
sure. And a 5-hour drive from St. George to Salt Lake.
And the grandparents that aren't used to raising children that now have these 2 little kids in their home. And so I know something that family would actually really appreciate if anybody has any access to activities to do with the family.
Oh, really?
So when they do have time to all become a family, they can kind of forget about the hospital. Not that they will forget about that baby, but just spend time together as the 4 of them. This summer, someone sent them on a ATV ride, and they just thought that was the greatest adventure they could do as their family. So things like that, maybe the aquarium in Salt Lake or children's museums, cool. Things like that they can go on as a family.
This is, it's also touching as you go through the 15 families that Cares for Christmas is helping this year with your support. You go through the stories, and it's amazing how humble the requests are. To the one that really touched me, because I've never been a mom, obviously, but I know a lot of moms, had one myself, and I love the family number 7. One of the requests from mom, she didn't want anything for herself for Christmas specifically. She wanted to be able to take they've had a rough year. They've been very busy and a little overwhelmed. And she wanted to be able to take the family out to dinner. And that just tugged at my heartstrings when I read that, because I thought, first off, what a mom thing to ask for. Not something for herself specifically, but for the entire family. But also, I think a lot of us take that for granted, that most of us have the luxury of a night out for dinner is something easy enough to get once a month or something like that. But these are families who maybe haven't been able to do that for more than a year. And it's heartbreaking, but it's also a good reminder that we have families with great need here in Cache Valley, and we can all do something to help.
We do. We've had several homeless families throughout the year that need blankets, that need warm items. We have a family right now that's on the verge of losing their home and their car, and just those things that you would never dream of that you have to worry about, not just as yourself, but then you have kids. We also, I believe, have a single mom with 6 kids. I think can we do that with everything she's got going on to keep herself going, but also all of her family. There's another single mom that's putting herself through nursing school. Her older children have come home from college so they can help out, so she can go to school.
That's touching.
And then once her education is done, then they will go back and finish their education. But just a testament of those older children that, mom's helped us through all these years, and now she needs help. And we're going to step to the plate and come home and help her raise the rest of our kids that are siblings at home. And
that is, a lot of these families have ended up in these situations through, accidents through no fault of their own. One family, this was heartbreaking as well, but obviously surprise loss of the children's father, and now the mother just trying to, piece all of this together. And then again, when you get down to the wants list for all of them, just very humble stuff: board games, shoes, coats, things like that, gift cards to any retail option, but specifically, the places where you can save money like Ross and Family Dollar, things like that. It's very humbling to read through these lists, and it's also I've noticed there is a lot left to reserve. Were you a little intimidated this year when you realized you were going to take on 15 families to help? Because that's
it is our biggest
increase,
year,
right?
For sure. And just the need in the valley, it shows that. And I put feelers out to my different contacts, and I thought that I had it all filled and my family's all done. And I had another one of my contacts come in that I've used in the past and said, I have 2 families that really need help. And how do I say no to that? It's so hard to turn people away. And
sure.
So we were able to pick up those additional families, and that really did throw us over what we've done in the past. And I'm hoping that we're able to step up as a valley, and that I can help out as much as we can and get the needs met with what I've committed for this year.
That is, these lists are necessities in most cases. Families where the list of needs for the children include, underwear and coats, pants for school. One family, they need church clothes, and there's something on here that anyone could either go shop for, or maybe you've been given something you want to re-gift. There's so many options for this, but these are families in need. Cooking and baking utensils, new pillows for the beds. I could list things all day long. And of course, if someone doesn't have the time or the interest in going shopping for something on the list, your team at Cares for Christmas, you can take a gift card or a cash donation through Venmo and take that quite a long ways.
Yes, gift cards we usually do turn right over to the families. You can make it out for a specific family that you want us to give it to, or at the end, we just kind of see what we have and what families are still in need, and we'll add the gift cards to those families. But all cash donations, I do take those, and we go out and shop for what's left over or what's needed. I know Family 13, there are a couple of bigger items. There are each of the kids want a Kindle tablet. But knowing this family a little bit, those kids are special needs. And it's things that they need at school to help with their autism, I believe, is one of them, and some learning disabilities that Kindle is really vital to their education. So even though some of them, and then they're kids, and some people ask for Xbox games or Switch games. You know, you have the kids out there
you'd be worried if they didn't, right?
Right, exactly. So there are some bigger items out there, but they're not huge. When I think of things that my kids ask for, I just always get touched by the small things that most kids are asking for.
That was many of our listeners may not recognize this, but it's a very popular game. But I love this. For one of the on the list of wants for family 13, they have this family has many children, but there is a 9-year-old boy, and I love that. I just kind of chuckled when I saw this. Top want a Minecraft sweatshirt. I mean, that is so 9-year-old boy, but also again for everyone listening, for all of us here, imagine being in a situation where that's the only thing your 9-year-old son wants for Christmas, and you don't have the means to get it. That's very stressful for parents, even if it isn't a necessity. And that's something easy maybe for someone listening right now to go to caresforchristmas.org. You just click the button reserve next to the want on any child's list in any of these 15 families, and you enter the name and a little bit of contact information. And then you can bring it down here to the station. Here at KVNU, we've partnered with Cares for Christmas again this year. And you can drop it off 8 to 5 p.m. any day up until Wednesday, December 18th, the deadline, because they do need time to sort of process all of this, right? You have all these donations come in, all these new items come in, or gift cards to distribute, and you've got to sort it all, get it all organized, and get it to the families, right?
Yes, and that is one of the hard things, especially, like we said, we do have cash donations that we then need to go out and buy gifts for things that have not been reserved.
Sure.
And so cash donations before that would be great, so I can spend some time this weekend. We can send out our team and go and do some shopping.
Oh, sure.
But up until the 18th, then from there, I go through and make sure every individual child has their items. Each family is I do the same thing I would with my own kids, and I spread out each person's piles and make sure that they are about the same size. And if not, I have to go out and go shopping and get a couple of those items. Sometimes people will bring in 5 pair of pants and not a shirt for somebody, and I got to go get a couple more
Oh, wow.
shirts.
Now you have kids too, so now you're Christmas shopping twice.
I do have kids, and I either think of them in October or come about December 20th, 21st when I'm done with this, then we hurry and go out and scramble and get last-minute items for them. But one thing that's been great is like that Minecraft T-shirt that you were talking about. My son loves Minecraft.
Sure.
And so
really popular right now.
Exactly. And so I love to be able to have them pick out an item of something that they want and get your kids involved.
Oh, perfect.
Have them go through the website with you if you have similar ages in kids or similar interests, and have them go out and pick up that item and bring it in.
Those
are
great
some of the
idea.
most touching stories that I've heard.
That is a great idea, because I was wondering about that. The same 9-year-old boy for family, let me make sure here again, it's family 13 of the 15 families at caresforchristmas.org. The same 9-year-old boy would like books from Amazon or from local bookstore. And I'm thinking, if I was going to go buy a book, what would I buy for? But if you've got a child of similar age, you could take them and say, what would you want?
Exactly.
That's
and there
a great
are
idea.
tons of Minecraft books out there. There's, you can see on his profile, it says that he likes games and graphic novels. So you kind of take those ideas of what their profile says and some of them have their favorite colors if you're picking out clothes. Someone on here wants anything Hello Kitty. Who doesn't have a child that loves Hello Kitty?
Yeah.
Go pick out some Hello Kitty things and just bring them in and drop them off.
That is, and again, family 13, as you mentioned, some children, they have children with special needs. So they've got multiple children in weekly therapies, which are essential, but obviously are making a financial and time strain on the family overall. And this is, you could really make not just the children's year with some of these items, but mom's year as well, to say the least.
Right. That family, she was a stay-at-home mom for 16 years and was able to take care of those family members. And this last summer, Dad had enough and left.
And
so
she finds herself in this situation. And
right. So we have a lot of heartbreaking stories with kids like that. There are a lot of medical issues. Family 2, there's a boy that has a rare disease that is developing in him, and he's going deaf, and his family's trying to figure out how to take care of that and handle the medical expenses for the things that they need for their family. So there's a lot of touching stories like that of families that have been going around and doing just fine. And then all of a sudden they have this massive health crisis, or a parent passes away. Suddenly we do have one of those.
Yeah.
Or, people leave, or grandparents need to come join the family. And that changes the dynamic of what they can do and how they're able to handle everyday expenses, let alone Christmas for their kids.
Becoming a caretaker for a parent comes with a whole different set of stress along those lines too. And again, this is a time of year when we're celebrating family, we're spending time with family, and for these families, it can be a very stressful time if money's short, if time's short, and that's what Cares for Christmas is all about. And again, this year they've taken on more families than ever before. There are 15 families at caresforchristmas.org, the website I've linked to on our Facebook page as well. You can read through every family's story and list of needs and wants for the Christmas season, and then reserve an item in your name. Go buy the item, bring it down here to the station, 8 to 5 p.m., any day of the week, Monday through Friday, and that goes up until Wednesday, December 18th, the deadline for this year's Cares for Christmas. And we're happy to be able to partner with the Cares for Christmas organization again. Melissa Frandsen of Cares for Christmas has been our guest. And Melissa, am I leaving anything out? I mentioned Venmo donations can be made at cares-for-Christmas on Venmo. You can also buy gift cards and more, bring them to the station, reserve them for a specific family if you want, or just bring them down and let Melissa and her team decide where they go. Either way. But this long list of needs and the family's stories, you need to pick through it. It's sobering. It will remind you none of us are immune to any of this. It could happen to any of us. And so step up for one of these 15 families, or all of them if you're feeling super generous. And Melissa, thank you for your time to do this interview with us today, but also thank you for doing this every year. This is a lot of work for you, I know. It is something that I wish was happening in every county. Because there are so many families in need. And are there ways, a quick question, are there ways people can support your Cares for Christmas work throughout the year? I know you have your own family to raise and your own, but is there a way people can they donate throughout the year if there's a better time for them and they want to give this spring maybe for the next Christmas?
Cash donations are always appreciated.
Sure.
Because like I said, at the end of the year, whatever is not, or at the end of the season, whatever is not donated, we go and do that. I don't really have a storage facility to have items to store throughout the year, but we do have an account that we can put directly into Cares for Christmas that will stay there until the fall.
Until you start again in
2025. We also are looking for families. We usually start looking early October, so we can have the families vetted. We go through a process to make sure that their situation really is as bad, or that it's what is being talked about. So we try to find those kind of families. That's always the hardest part of the season, actually, believe it or not, because you have to turn people away, but you also need to be able to help those that are in need. So
even just, I think hearing and reviewing the stories, all of us, I would like to just help every family here above and beyond the list of wants and needs even. And obviously, a few of us could actually do that, but any little thing is going to help. Even buying like this kid that wants anything with Spider-Man on it. You could make a kid's Christmas with one item. And again, items can be dropped off 8 to 5 here at the Radio Ranch, 810 West, 200 North, Cache Valley Media Group. At the front desk, we have a collection bin there, and we will be doing that up until 5 p.m. December 18th. KVNU, again, happy to partner again this year with the Cares for Christmas organization. And one more time, caresforchristmas.org to read the family stories and the items of lists and wants they need for this holiday season. Cash donations can be made via Venmo at cares-for-Christmas on Venmo. And anything you can do to help. If you have more questions, of course, there is contact information at caresforchristmas.org as well. And Melissa Frandsen of the Cares for Christmas organization has been our guest. And again, Melissa, thank you.
Well, thank you, Jason, for having me. I really appreciate coming in here every year and talking about this. And you've always been great to support and get the word out. So thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. One of my favorite charitable events each year. I wish in a perfect world it wouldn't need to happen. but it's not a perfect world, so I'm glad it's happening. And for our listeners, please be a part of it. Cares for Christmas running up until 5 p.m. December 18th. Again, all the family stories and lists of wants and needs at caresforchristmas.org. And thanks to Melissa, and thanks to our listeners for tuning in. Stick around, more to come right after this. Look at the news with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News is brought to you by Cardall's Insulation. Senator Mitt Romney has given his final remarks after seeing the Republican Party, for which he was once the standard bearer, drastically transform under Donald Trump. At a news conference today at his Salt Lake City office, the retiring senator reflected on his two-decade political career, which included the 2012 Republican presidential nomination, a term as Massachusetts governor, and several skirmishes with Trump loyalists in Congress. The 77-year-old Romney chose not to run for re-election this year after representing Utah in the Senate since 2019. He says he would like to focus on getting more young people involved in politics after he leaves office in January. Among the roughly 1,500 people whose sentences were commuted or who were pardoned by President Biden are a nonprofit leader who supports at-risk youth, a social worker who fosters animals, and a counselor and recovery coach. One woman who received a pardon said she wanted people with drug addiction to know there is always hope. Not everyone was pleased by Biden's decisions. A Republican state senator said a commutation for a woman who stole $54 million from a small town in Illinois was a slap in the face to residents. One of those receiving a pardon was Stavoni Doyle of Santaquin, Utah. Doyle applied for a pardon 6 years ago. It had been so long that she had all but forgotten about it until Wednesday. Doyle said of the call she received from a Justice Department pardon attorney that she was in shock and at the same time honored. Doyle, who was once addicted to meth, had pleaded guilty to drug possession and check forging charges when she was 24. She served more than 2 years in state and federal prison. Released in 2006, Doyle resolved to stay clean. She started a family, earned her bachelor's and master's degrees, and now works as a social worker with a behavioral health center. Doyle applied for a pardon in 2018 and heard nothing until 2020 when the FBI reached out and the vetting began. After the vetting was over, she would have to wait some more 4 years, it turned out. She has 5 children and 3 grandchildren, volunteers in her community, fosters animals, and competes in roller derby. KVNU weather brought to you by Triton Medical Supply and Transportation, a partner for your medical needs. They offer non-emergency medical transportation to and from medical appointments, hospitals, or nursing homes. They can transport medical equipment like walkers, wheelchairs, even a stretcher. Call 435-557-6687 or see mytritonsupply.com. Winter weather advisory for heavy snow in the mountains beginning noon Saturday to 3 p.m. on Sunday. But for the valley locations, for the Cache Valley, mostly a rain and snow event with very little additional snow accumulation expected. Partly cloudy tonight, mid-20s. Then a little bit of rain and snow in the forecast on Saturday, becoming more rain in the afternoon. High temperature tomorrow in the low 40s. Get more news at CacheValleyDaily.com.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Frandsen. Public outcry over reported drone sightings in the Northeast and other parts of the country. Residents and lawmakers demanding more information.
Former Maryland Governor Larry Hogan saying he witnessed dozens of large drones above his house for 45 minutes. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy sending a letter to President Biden saying more resources are needed to fully understand what is behind this activity. Drones also seen over parts of New York City. White House National Security spokesman John Kirby says there is no evidence the reported drones pose any threat or are tied to a foreign country.
ABC's Perry Russum. During a congressional trip, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi hospitalized in Luxembourg. Her office says she sustained an injury during a ceremony marking the 80th anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge, but did not provide details of her injuries. Heavy snow and ice in the forecast from the Midwest to the Northeast. Residents in the Great Lakes getting more snow. This is ABC News.
As the weather outside turns frightful, it's time to think about making the inside of your home delightful. Wrap your home in warmth this winter with Cardall's insulation. Their insulation doesn't just keep the cold out, it keeps the warm in. Today's insulation will make your home quieter and can dramatically cut down on your energy bill. Whether it's an attic, garage, or your entire home in need of insulation, Cardall's Insulation is who you should call. 755-5012. There's still a tax credit up to $1,200 you can take advantage of. Call 755-5012.
From ABC News, Wall Street now. Wall Street slipping Friday despite some bounce from tech company Broadcom. Its stock surged after beating profit targets and providing a glowing forecast for its artificial intelligence products. The Dow Jones fell 86 points. The Nasdaq up 24. The S&P was even. McKinsey & Company has agreed to pay $650 million to settle a federal investigation into its work with opioids. The consulting firm helped opioid manufacturer Purdue Pharma boost the sales of its highly addictive drug, OxyContin. As part of the deal, McKinsey cannot be involved in the sale, marketing, or promotion of controlled substances. Texas is challenging interstate telemedicine by suing a New York doctor for prescribing abortion pills to women near Dallas. It's one of the first challenges to the so-called shield laws that Democrat-controlled states passed to protect doctors from prosecution after Roe v. Wade was overturned. Michelle Frandsen, ABC News.
Is your family visiting for the holidays, or are they already here? Well, they have laundry to do using your machines, and it'll take away hours from your family time. We'll send them to Mount Logan Laundry with the large 55 and 80-pound washers and dryers that dry 30% faster. They'll find clean, comfortable environment with free Wi-Fi internet and drop-off service, and they'll be back in no time. Recommend Mount Logan Laundry. They're at 5th East and 9th North in Logan, or in Brigham City on the corner of 1st East and 7th South. Mount Logan Laundry, the cleanest spot in town.
Are you a business owner or HR director that's frustrated with your current employee benefits? If you are confused about coverages and can't get a hold of your agent, it's time for a change. This is Matt Robbins with Quality First Insurance and Alera Benefits. As an independent agency, we will give you options. Let us give your benefits package a fresh look. Call Quality First Insurance and Alera Benefits today, 435-752-0101.
This holiday season, Hull Tree Care wants to say thank you for trusting us to care for your trees and shrubs throughout the year. Your support has helped us grow, and we're grateful to be part of this community. As winter settles in, it's the perfect time to give your trees a little TLC. Regular trimming during the dormant season not only keeps your trees healthy, but also prepares them to flourish in the spring. Let us help your landscape stay beautiful and strong, just like your holiday traditions. Call Hull Tree Care today at 760-6587. That's 760-6587. From our family to yours, happy holidays.
At Cash Equipment, we want to take a moment to say thank you to our customers, farmers, and ranchers. The early mornings, the late nights, and the endless care you pour into the land and animals that sustain us all. Your work is the backbone of our community, and we're honored to support you with reliable Kubota tractors and equipment. In fact, right now enjoy 0% financing for 60 months on select Kubota tractors. Cash Equipment in Hyde Park and online at cashequipment.com.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Monday on This Morning, America's First News. Most politicians moderate campaign promises after elections and before polling starts. Hear how President-elect Trump is tempering his. Also, scores of big companies have announced job layoffs this year. We'll have tips on preparing for the new-look job market in 2025. And does it ever make sense to purchase frequent flyer miles? Monday on This Morning, America's First News. Monday morning from 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
People say that I'm a rock star. They think I stay up all night. Well, just because I'm such a rock star doesn't mean I only get hype.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. I haven't done a Friday traffic rant for a long time, mainly because they started to get repetitious. My two complaints driving around Cache Valley are still the same. Get out of the fast lane. I don't know if they stopped teaching this in driver's ed. I don't know if I get it. Sometimes you're making a left-hand turn soon and you need to be in that lane, and maybe you're going under the speed limit or exactly the speed limit. Someone wants to go 2 miles faster and they're riding you, and it's annoying. I understand that left lane cannot be just clear for me at all times. But if you're turning left in 2 miles and you're just sitting in that lane, watching cars back up behind you, watching people pass you on the right. So my traffic rants got a little repetitious. I'm bringing it back today for a public safety reason, because I saw something. Now, this was just on my way to the station today. I was headed here, and I won't mention exactly what time because I don't know what was happening, and so I don't want to be, the person who announces there was a big event at a certain time, and I haven't heard what the event was, but so there was a lot of somewhat high-speed sheriff deputy travel with lights and sirens included on 10th West. And the person in front of me, the person behind me, and I did what we were supposed to do. I happened to see the lights way back in my rearview mirror, and the person in front of me must have too. And so we proceeded to slow and exit the lanes. Now, the deputy could have passed both of us in the left lane. We were both in the right lane. There was no one there. But that's not what you're supposed to do. You don't keep traveling. You create as much space for them. And what you're trying to do is reduce the number of things the officer traveling at a high rate of speed to get to an accident, to get to a medical emergency, to save a life, to be there to stop the accident from getting worse by directing traffic. I mean, they don't flip the lights and the sirens on because somebody was going 5 miles and over out on Airport Road. So on 10th West, headed north, we saw the deputy lights. The person in front of me and the person behind me, we all started to get over. Some yahoo decided this was his opportunity to pass us. And, of course, that put him right in the way of the police officer. Now, I don't know what goes through your head when you see all the traffic getting off the side of the road, that you don't even glance behind you to see if maybe they're doing that because of a first responder coming through. I don't know what this man was thinking. He was obviously embarrassed when the officer had to go around him in the median, and then he quickly got over. And then, of course, as the officer went past, we all entered the roadway. He tried to get around all of us again. How obnoxious, but not only obnoxious, you're slowing a first responder's travel. It's not hyperbolic to say that your bad decisions as a driver, and I should point out as well, illegal decisions as a driver. The reason you never hear of anyone actually stopped and cited for this, now you do sometimes, but the reason you rarely hear of anyone stopped and cited for this kind of bad driving decision making is that the officers are headed somewhere important. They don't have time to pull someone over. Now, I have seen, I did actually see this just a little while ago. I saw a second vehicle following the first responding officer. They were headed to a car accident near the mouth of Sardine Canyon. And I did watch, there were 3 of them coming, and I did watch the third officer actually pull 2 vehicles to the side of the road and get out. And I assume gave them a stern talking to. We need a refresher on some of this stuff, I guess. But the problem I see is that now there was a second part of this that I witnessed as well. So we get back on the roadway. The first responder has gone beyond us, headed up towards the light at 2nd North. I'm going to be making a right turn to come to the station here. And that I watch as that responding officer still trying to head north across 2nd North and out towards, I'm not sure if they're headed Airport Road or where, but in that direction on 10th West. As the officer tries to go, so the light is red, and the officer is going to go around the traffic in the left-hand turn lane, which is empty, and try and skirt through that intersection and not have to wait for the red light. So obviously this is, time is sensitive here. The officer is headed somewhere important and possibly to save a life as a first responder. The white minivan in front of him, again, oblivious to the siren and lights behind them, signals and gets in the turn lane. So I watch this deputy have to then hop the physical median, travel in the oncoming lane direction. There was no traffic there, and very slowly maneuver around the physical median in the lane of oncoming traffic. No traffic there again because the light was red, and then slowly make his way through the intersection. It cost probably 10, 15 seconds of response time for the officer to have to do this, for the sheriff's deputy to have to do this, all because someone, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, if you know this was you, I don't know your name, obviously, but driving a white minivan, you signaled, got in the turn lane in front of a responding sheriff's deputy headed somewhere important with lights and siren on, possibly to save a life, responding to a medical emergency, an accident, a fire, whatever it might be. You signaled and got in front of them and then blocked the lane because the light was red. Put yourself in the shoes of someone who made that 911 call. And you are, facing a situation, maybe it's a house fire. Maybe you've been in a car accident and you or someone in your car or someone in the other vehicle is seriously injured. Maybe you're at home and there's been a medical emergency with a young child or an elderly parent. Maybe it's you. Maybe you called 911 because you're having a medical emergency and you're waiting for first responders to get there. And first responders are delayed minutes because we're that bad at driving here in northern Utah? Really? I mean, this is the first response I'm going to get is, look, it's just two bad drivers. But yeah, I mean, this was in a quarter-mile stretch. In a quarter-mile stretch, I watched two different drivers impede the travel of a first responder with full lights and siren on. You can hear it. You can see it. If you're even half paying attention as a driver, you're scanning your rearview mirrors occasionally, right? We're all taught to do that. There's a reason you do that. This is only one of them. But at no point do either of these drivers show any awareness whatsoever there is a first responder with lights and siren on right behind them. And both of them slowed this first responder's travel. In this case, again, a sheriff's deputy headed north on 10th West. It was appalling to watch. And if I, it takes, I have a problem with this. I am getting better at it, but my whole life I've always had this problem where I have to right wrongs. It's not a healthy thing to do. It's not a rational thing to do, but it took everything I could not to roll up on that intersection. And both of these bad drivers who impeded the travel of a first responder by choice, not because they had to. It does happen when you have to. I've been there. I was sitting at a light one day, red light, and the first responder, it was an ambulance in this case, they came up, lights and siren on, and there was nowhere for them to go because I'm sitting there behind a car and we're at a red light. There's not space enough in front of me, or there's not space enough behind me to back up. There's a car behind me. Eventually, we were all able to kind of inch our cars to the right enough, with the car in front of me almost getting their nose out in the intersection somewhat to do so, that we created a lane for the ambulance to go through. Now, we impeded the travel of a first responder in that situation, not by choice. These two drivers today, just short of 2nd North on 10th West, two different drivers within the space of probably 2 minutes time, added 30, 40, 45 seconds, maybe even a full minute of travel time to this first responder's time by just being that bad at driving. Folks, this is a situation where you being an inattentive driver or just not doing what you're supposed to do when you see lights and siren. By the way, it's simple. If you see lights or hear a siren behind you, you exit the roadway as much as you can safely, and you come to a stop. Again, the purpose of this law is that you are reducing the number of things by clearing the roadway and coming to a stop. I've seen this happen too, where people get over, but they continue to travel. Don't do that. The point of you clearing the roadway and coming to a stop is to reduce the number of things the first responder has to pay attention to as they travel, because they have to go through busy intersections against the light, like 2nd North and 10th West. I watched a first responder once trying to go at 5 in the afternoon, trying to go through the 4th North intersection. They're trained to do it. They do it carefully and safely. Accidents do happen, but they know what they're doing. Your only job in this situation as a driver it's two things. One, notice them coming. How hard is that? You're supposed to be scanning your mirrors and your line of sight pretty regularly while you're driving anyway, so you see what's going on around you. And then get over and come to a stop. It's the law. The penalties, if you are cited for this, are significant. This isn't a speeding ticket kind of a situation. And one thing I'll tell you, this is such an unpopular thing with prosecutors in the courts. If you are cited for not creating a path of travel, for not following the law, moving to the right and coming to a stop, if you are ever cited for that, this isn't going to be a situation where you go in and pay a fine. You're going to go in and get a lecture from a judge in a courtroom. They will make you do that just to inconvenience you, because this could cost lives. This could cost someone their home. Minutes matter in a life-saving scenario. The first responders are usually at the scene of a car accident, for example, are the first there to perform life-saving measures like extraction and CPR. Or to control traffic so that no one else is hurt while the rest of the responders arrive. Officers are often called when a 911 call comes in for someone at home with a medical emergency. The first person to show up is oftentimes a city or highway patrol or county sheriff first responder. Oftentimes they are out patrolling and closer to the address given to the 911 dispatcher than the ambulances are. And so oftentimes they're the first to arrive. So when you see those sirens or those flashing lights and those sirens, you get out of the way. I don't know. I thought about this. As I first watched it happen, I thought, what doofuses? That was the only thought that went through my head as I watched these two drivers, back to back too. And hats off to the sheriff's deputy for not, I would be so tempted as a sheriff's deputy to try to just use my vehicle to push one of these vehicles out of the way. I'm glad this officer didn't, or this deputy didn't, but I would be that angry. Luckily that didn't have to happen. The deputy was able to go around, but was slowed down at least 30 seconds, if not 45 to a minute, by combining both of these drivers within a half-mile stretch. Two different drivers slowing the travel of this first responder. That's just inexcusable. So we've all got to be better about this. We've got to be more attentive, and we could all, in general, probably use a refresher on both our driver's ed and defensive driving courses. And I don't know, maybe state lawmakers should mandate that every 4 or 5 years, because some people seem to have forgotten everything we were taught. We'll be back right after this.
News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
Imagine giving the gift of a goat or chicken to a family far away, winter gloves for a local family, or clean water to someone living across the globe, all with the tap of a button. The Light the World giving machines are coming to Cache Valley, and all are invited to a community celebration. Come enjoy live music Monday, December 16th, starting at 6 p.m., right off Center Street in Logan, next to Great Harvest. Bring your family and friends, and together, let's show what Cache Valley is made of. The giving machines will be in Cache Valley December 16th through January 1st.
Anderson Seed & Garden's After Thanksgiving Blowout event is underway. Special sale pricing on hundreds of Christmas items in stock. Trees, wreaths, garlands, tabletops, wall decor, and much more. Also big discounts on floral picks, ornaments, and holiday ribbon. Sale runs now through the first weeks of December. Winter's almost here, but it's never a bad idea to learn about gardening. Sign up for Anderson's weekly gardening class, which starts January 27th. $40 a person or $60 for two. See store for details. There's always something new at Anderson Seed & Garden, Logan.
Express your love for her this Christmas by presenting a piece of diamond jewelry from S.E. Needham Jewelers. Diamond jewelry makes a woman feel cherished. A pair of beautiful diamond earrings will add to the sparkle in her eyes. Adorned in diamond earrings, she'll feel elegant and appreciated. Choose from a large selection of quality diamond earrings, all specially priced for the holidays. With diamonds direct from Antwerp, Belgium, we offer our integrity price guarantee. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Hey, how you doing? We all know how it can be to go to the wrong place for car repair.
And lights on again. Can you believe this? Unbelievable.
Free local towing for major repairs over $500 at your local AA MCO.
You can find your local AMCO at 75 East, 2000 North in North Logan, 752-1940.
AA MCO.
If your saving for retirement approach involves the phrase, "I'll get around to it someday," Edward Jones can help. When it comes to meeting your goals, time can be on your side. And there's no better time than now to get started toward your retirement goals. Edward Jones Financial Advisors can help. Stop by one of the 11 Edward Jones offices in Cache Valley. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Ranted a little longer than I thought, so we didn't get a chance to talk about the complaint filed against lawmakers for a campaign filing documents, a complaint saying that several lawmakers, including Senate President Stuart Adams, are out of compliance with campaign fundraising requirements that require they show, well, basically where money was paid. In one incident, the Senate President Stuart Adams had listed almost $16,000 through a PAC he runs as paid to an individual named Travel. In other cases, the Senate President and several other members of the Senate had listed on filing documents that they had paid